My name is Professor Dr. Martin Visbeck. I work at GEOMA, the Helmholtz Center for Ocean Research in Kiel, and teach at Kiel University. And I'm also a governing board member of the International Science Council, and as such speaking to you as part of the major group on science and technology. I want to share with you some thoughts on ocean sustainability, in particular with regards to the interaction between the Sustainable Development Goals in general and SDG 14, the ocean goal in particular. When you look at the ocean and the planet at night, you see that we live on land, obviously, and that most of the population lives actually close to the ocean, close to the coast. And why is that? It's because the coast connects us all by shipping. 90% of the goods get traded across the ocean, so it's a huge economic advantage for people to live close to the ocean. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development recognizes the importance of the ocean and has agreed to have a separate goal that focuses on the ocean. Goal 14 and the connection to the rest of the agenda from the ocean perspective is exactly the substance of the conference here in Lisbon. A few years ago, the International Science Council has provided a guide to SDG interactions from science to implementation. That guide looks at how these goals and in particular targets are connected, and it basically comes up with two messages. First, there's a lot of connectivity, but second, it's not of equal magnitude. Some goals are reinforcing each other's, others are in opposition to each other. So a careful analysis is needed to understand how the goals are connected with each other. The analysis of SDG 14 on the 2030 agenda with the other came up with a very interesting conclusion. First of all, almost all SDGs are connected to the ocean, to SDG 14. And when you do the analysis at the target level, you find that from 97 targets which are interacting with each other, 61 interactions are positive. That means they're reinforcing each other. If you take an action on one, you have a co-benefit on another. Only one is neutral, meaning there's no interaction, and about 35 are negative. That means you're acting on one and you are violating the other ones. So the majority of the activity on SDG 14 has a positive impact on the rest of the agenda. They are positively reinforcing each other. It shows the importance of SDG 14 for the 2030 agenda in general. Now, in the International Science Council, we're very much aware of that science in the context of the 2030 agenda is the science of complex systems. It depends on good observations, in this case of the ocean, of an understanding of the ocean climate biodiversity system, our ability to use models to predict and develop scenarios into the future, to assess what is known and see where it informs policy, and to look at the ocean policies on SDG 14 and see if new knowledge is needed. There's a true value chain that goes from observation to knowledge to forecast to analysis and action. The International Science Council and its programs very much supports that view that science is an enabling factor to informing sustainable development actions. It is no surprise that out of that recognition, the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development was developed. It started last year in 2021, and it's going to go until the end of the decade in 2030. The vision of the decade is the science we need for the ocean we want, and clearly it's all about the ocean that we need for the future we want. The decade is all about transforming ocean sciences to support the knowledge of sustainable development, the knowledge that we need to connect people and to our ocean and renegotiate the interactions that human and the ocean have and transform it to one that is mutual beneficial. That means that our interaction with the ocean from a blue economic point of view is sustainable, and on the other hand that we have protection of the ocean where critical ecosystem, climate stability and other functions are safeguarded. I want to highlight that SDG 14 does not stand alone. It's connected in intricate ways to the whole 2030 agenda, and most of the interaction are reinforcing positive. That means You act on one SDG, you're also going to have co-benefits in the ocean and vice versa.